If you are over the age of 60 and you get out of bed the same way tomorrow morning that you did today, you may be putting more strain on your heart in the first 60 seconds of your day than at almost any other point in the next 24 hours. That is not an exaggeration. It is not fear for the sake of fear. It is simply what happens, physiologically, the moment an aging body goes from lying flat to standing upright, and most people have no idea it is happening at all. They think they are just getting up. They think they are starting their day. But underneath that ordinary motion, your cardiovascular system is being asked to do something remarkable. And if a handful of common habits get in the way, that ordinary moment can turn into a dangerous one. In this video, I want to walk you through 5 morning habits that quietly work against your heart, why each one matters more after 60 than it did at 30, and a simple routine you can start using tomorrow morning to protect yourself. Stay with me through all 5, because habit number 2 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it happens to nearly everyone at least once a week without them noticing. Here is the piece most people never learn. While you sleep, your blood pressure runs lower than it does during the day. That is normal and healthy. But the instant you sit up and swing your legs out of bed, gravity pulls a noticeable amount of blood down into your legs and torso. A younger cardiovascular system corrects for that shift almost instantly. Vessels constrict, heart rate ticks up, blood pressure stabilizes within a beat or two. An older system, especially one affected by blood pressure medication, dehydration, or simple age-related stiffening of the vessels, can be a full 10 to 20 seconds slower to make that correction. In that window, blood flow to the brain drops. That is what produces the head rush, the gray out, the moment of dizziness so many older adults treat as completely normal. It is not normal. It is a measurable, well-documented phenomenon called orthostatic hypotension, and it is one of the more common preventable causes of fall-related injury in adults over 60. Let's get into the 5 habits. Habit number 5, standing straight up the moment you wake without pausing. This is the most direct version of what I just described. Your body has spent 7 or 8 hours essentially horizontal. The moment you go vertical in one motion, you are asking your blood pressure regulation system to do its hardest job of the day, cold, before it has had any warning. Picture someone who has done this every morning of their adult life without incident, gets up quickly at 68 or 70, and one morning the room tilts, their vision grays at the edges, and they grab the dresser to stay upright. Nothing happened that day that hadn't happened 1,000 mornings before, except this time, their vessels were a little slower to respond. Maybe from a new medication, maybe from being slightly dehydrated the night before. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Sit on the edge of the bed for a slow count of 10 before standing, then stand and pause again before you start walking. 2 brief pauses. That is the entire intervention, and it gives your circulatory system the time it actually needs to catch up. Habit number 4, not drinking any water before you get moving. Overnight, you lose fluid simply through breathing and normal skin evaporation. And if you didn't hydrate well the evening before, you wake up mildly dehydrated without any thirst to warn you, because thirst sensation weakens with age. Dehydration thickens the blood slightly, and thicker blood is harder for an already stressed morning cardiovascular system to move right at the exact moment it's compensating for the drop in pressure from standing up. The 2 problems compound each other. The fix. Keep a glass of water on your nightstand and drink it before you even stand up, while you're still sitting on the edge of the bed doing your 10-second pause. It costs you nothing, and it gives your blood volume a small, immediate boost right when your body needs it most. Are you following along so far? If any of this sounds familiar, drop a comment and let me know. It helps this reach the people who need to see it, and it's a good reminder for someone else reading the comments too. Now let's get into the habits that matter even more. Habit number 3, a high-sodium breakfast. Cured breakfast meats, canned juices, most packaged cereals, and even bread can carry a surprising amount of sodium before 9 a.m. Sodium causes the body to retain water, and retained water means a higher volume of fluid your heart has to push through your vessels, which raises blood pressure at a time of day when it is already naturally on the rise. This is well established in the geriatric hypertension literature, and it's one of the more overlooked pieces of blood pressure management because people think about sodium in terms of dinner, not breakfast. If you already manage high blood pressure, your morning meal is not a neutral choice. It either helps your medication do its job or works against it. The fix isn't to skip breakfast. It's to build it around whole foods, eggs, oats, fresh fruit, rather than the cured and packaged items that carry hidden sodium loads. Habit number 2, the one almost nobody talks about: straining during a bowel movement first thing in the morning. I know this isn't a comfortable topic, but it matters enormously, and it is almost never discussed. When you strain, holding your breath and bearing down, you are performing what's called a Valsalva maneuver. It causes a sharp, sudden spike in blood pressure and chest pressure, followed by an equally sharp drop when you release. For a healthy younger heart, this passes without notice. For an older heart, especially one with any degree of existing artery narrowing, that spike and drop cycle can be enough to trigger a cardiac event, and it is a recognized, documented cause of sudden cardiac symptoms in older adults, precisely because it happens first thing in the morning, often while alone, and rarely gets connected to what caused it afterward. Picture someone who has managed mild constipation for years by simply pushing harder and holding their breath, assuming it's just an unpleasant but harmless part of getting older. It isn't harmless. The fix: stay hydrated, add fiber gradually rather than sodium-heavy processed food, use a footstool to raise your knees above hip height on the toilet, which straightens the colon and reduces the need to strain. And if you feel yourself holding your breath and bearing down hard, stop, breathe, and try again rather than pushing through it. And now, habit number 1. Taking your morning blood pressure or heart medication late, or skipping it just this once. Your blood pressure naturally rises in the hour or two after waking. This is a well-documented part of the body's normal daily rhythm. For most people on blood pressure medication, that morning dose is specifically timed to be active and working by the time that natural rise begins. When the dose is taken late or missed, the medication isn't there yet to blunt that rise, and the morning surge happens essentially unmanaged. This is exactly why doctors are so consistent about timing with these medications. Not because one skip dose guarantees a problem, but because the whole point of the prescription is to be in your system before your body's natural pressure increase begins. If you've ever thought, "I'll just take it after breakfast," or "one day won't matter," talk to your doctor about your specific medication and timing rather than deciding on your own. Some medications are far more time-sensitive than others, and your doctor can tell you which category yours falls into. Now, here is the morning routine I'd suggest building around all 5 of these. When your alarm goes off, don't move yet. Sit up in bed and stay seated for a slow count of 10. Drink the glass of water you left on your nightstand the night before. Stand up slowly and pause for a few seconds before you start walking. Take your morning medication at the same time you were prescribed to take it, not sometime before lunch. Build breakfast around whole foods rather than cured or packaged items. And if nature calls first thing, don't rush and don't strain. Give yourself the time and the footstool if you need it. None of this adds more than a few minutes to your morning, and every part of it is something your doctor would tell you if you had the time to sit down and ask. Your heart has been adjusting to gravity every single morning of your life without you ever having to think about it. That system still works. It just needs a little more time and a little more cooperation than it used to. None of these 5 habits are dramatic. None of them require special equipment or a lifestyle overhaul. They just require you to slow down for the first few minutes of your day, on purpose, instead of on autopilot. If this was useful, share it with someone in your life who could use the reminder. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 surprised you most. I read all of them. Take care of yourself starting tomorrow morning, and I'll see you in the next video.